Now, in
Okay.
200 meters at the end of the road, turn left to Anno in Strasse.
Okay, here we go. Okay. Okay. So this is day 7 with BYD ATTO 3, but I wouldn't officially call it day 7 because we're headed to the airport. So it's been 1 full week with the BYD ATTO 3. I've already gave my summary. Just a couple of other things I wanted to wrap up. And that's I did confirm that at low speeds, this car does make an audible noise so that people who are nearby the car can hear it when it's approaching. So at 20 kilometers or lower, and the car is moving, you will hear an audible noise, and you might be able to hear it now in the microphone. So as I said, up to 20 miles per hour, you can hear
in
the
100 meters at the end of the road, turn left to Strasse.
BYD ATTO 3 make an audible noise. And then
turn left to Strasse.
The other thing that I noted with the BYD ATTO 3 is it has some pretty cool personalization features. So it has the tilt screen. So when you can say, hey BYD, rotate the screen.
Okay, rotating the screen.
So that's a pretty cool little feature. The sort of aspect ratio is a bit narrow, but if you sort of wanted to kind of get a good sense of where the car is relative to the landscape while navigating, it's a nice feature to have. You know, it's a novelty certainly, but certainly something that I think no one would object to have a little bit of personalization in the car. You also have you know, some sort of ambient lighting that can be changed as well. I didn't spend too much time on that, mainly because just really wasn't that sort of into personalizing the car, because didn't have sort of a lot of time to sort of mess with the personalization functions. And then finally, the other thing too, the car was fairly good in terms of efficiency. So what we got was roughly about 3.2 miles per kilowatt. That would translate to about 20 kilometers per 100 kilowatts. So the BYD ATTO 3 did do pretty well in terms of efficiency. I estimate the range in mixed driving to be about 180 miles, so somewhere in the range of roughly 400
meters, enter motorway to
400 actually, let me take that, about 370 kilometers, I would say, you know, with average driving. And I drove the car in normal mode, did a little bit of eco mode driving, and also some sport driving, and so a real sort of representation of how the car does with the 3 different modes. And the other thing too is I mentioned earlier one pedal driving. I didn't have a chance to really sort of set the profile. There were some instances where the BYD ATTO 3 did really well with one pedal driving.
400 meters, enter motorway ahead to A92 towards Deggendorf.
And then there were some instances where it seemed like it was a little bit light in terms of the braking response, the one pedal driving braking response. So, you know, that's something that obviously needs to be sort of tuned according to the driver's preference. But overall, yeah, I'd say, you know, good experience with the BYD ATTO 3.
Motorway ahead to A92.
And what would I say overall? Yeah, you know, once again, just something that I think, you know, people should really pay attention to. I should say, you know, 9 years ago, I went to China and I met an engineer there. And he said that, you know, the Chinese want to learn to make cars. And here we are 9 years later, and they've got a very good car right here. You know, I think, you know, in a generation, next generation BYD ATTO 3, or even, you know, maybe 2 generations, you know, there won't be any need to make any disclaimers or sort of, you know, raise an eyebrow at these cars. These cars are legitimate. They are very good. It's just a matter of refinements and some of the things I mentioned also in terms of, you know, some of the kind of the sort of funky little features that look like knockoffs, you know, getting those things cleaned up. But these are things that, you know, with consumer research and benchmarking other vehicles that can easily be addressed. So I think that the bigger pressure is on the established automakers, especially for a car in this class, the Toyotas, the Hondas, for example, American car makers like Ford. I think those are the ones that really need to have some concern about a car like this, the BYD ATTO 3 being on the market. So yeah, so that's where we are with this, and then the copycat thing as well. I mentioned that. Who's copying who with the Mercedes EQA, EQB, VW ID, ID4 GTX? It's very hard to distinguish this car from those cars, and that's definitely something that as a buyer I'd be paying attention to. Is you want something that has its own identity, but it also is an SUV. So how much can we really differentiate SUVs at this point? So that's the wrap for the BYD ATTO 3. It's been a great experience, but it's time to give it back. And we'll be bringing more in future videos. Hopefully we'll get a chance to bring you some additional EVs, new on the market, cool EVs. But thanks for checking out this sort of this daily journal with the BYD ATTO 3 while I've been here in Munich, Germany for IAA Mobility. And we'll see you in the next one. Thanks for watching.